Hi Ankit, good morning.
Hello everyone, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Let's give a couple of minutes for people to join.
So Ankit, in the meantime, I had a query regarding the assessment.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I had a query with the question number 4.
Okay.
So can I share my screen now?
I have the question we can discuss.
Okay.
So here's the question. Yeah, this is the question, right?
Yes.
Write a query to get all the orders where customer name neither starts with A nor ends with N.
Yes.
Right. So I want to discuss this with everyone because there were a lot of doubts, but we can discuss again. So the idea, my question was like the name which are starting with A and ending with N. I don't want those records basically. Maybe wordings are not correct. Might be confusing, even I felt. But the idea is we don't want customer name whose name is starting with A and ending with N.
Okay. I had a write a query like customer name not like A% and customer name not like %N.
Yeah, this one. I just wrote it to explain it.
Yes, correct.
Right. So just think about a name. Let's consider my name only, Ankit. Okay. So if the customer name is, let's say, Ankit. So will it qualify this condition?
No.
Why?
Because the name starts with the A. First condition, he like it's not qualified.
Yeah, starts with A, and is it ending with N?
No.
No, right? So if it is a not like, so it will qualify, right?
But
Okay,
only one
just
condition is there. Only one condition is like as A is there, but the last alphabet is qualified.
okay, just forget not. Now
Mhm.
tell me, will Ankit qualify?
Yes.
No, so the condition is the name should start with A, then anything can be there, and then N, right?
Hmm.
So it will not qualify. If this is the name, then it will qualify, right?
Yes. Okay.
So this wouldn't qualify. And when I say not like, then it means it will be qualified. Is this clear?
Hmm. Okay, if it's not like if the condition is not like and the first alphabet is not starts with the A, in the middle we have anything and the last letter should be not with the N. But if we are look at the Ankit name, So first alphabet is not like it's not qualifying, like A is there, so condition should not be like as per
No,
this.
it will be full condition. It is not and or something. It is a full condition, right? I have not put any and or all condition here. So you have to check at the full condition. If all is there, then I understand. You check first all condition and then second all. But here it is a full one condition. That name should start with A and end with N.
Okay, okay.
Got it right?
Yes.
Now, if you do this, so you are saying not like A%. So this will not be qualified, Ankit, right?
Yes, correct.
And then after that, it will go to end condition, but first condition itself is not qualified, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Ankit, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So in such query, how will the execution starts? So now what I understand is first it goes to the from keyword, then it goes to the where keyword.
Right.
Okay. So after that it goes to the and. Is
This
it?
one you are talking about.
So maybe it is and, or maybe it is or, maybe it is between.
Yeah. Right.
Am I saying correct or?
Yes. So first from and then in where condition it will go. It will check the where condition.
Okay. So after that where condition, okay, complete where condition it will check, is it?
Right. Complete where condition it will check. Whatever is qualified will come into the select. I mean in the output.
Okay. So like where is a keyword here? Similarly, and is also a keyword, or maybe if it is or here, or is
Right.
or will also be a keyword, right?
All the keywords, if you see, are coming in blue, and as well as these conditions are like gray, right? So all these are keywords. Not like is also a keyword, and is also a keyword.
Okay, so the sequence remains the same from where, then back to select star.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can just go through the assignment. If you have any doubt, I think most of the questions are straightforward. I want to just touch base on two questions. One is this one. Okay. So the question is, let me go back to the question. Question is, write a query to get all the orders where customer name neither starts with A nor ends with N, right? So basically, any name which is starting with A and ending with N, I don't want. Okay. Now there is another way of achieving it, which brings a new concept. So we have been using not, right? But we can use not with a group of conditions. So for example, I can say, give me all the customers whose name starts with A and whose name ends with N, right? So I will get all the customers. So this condition and this condition is same now, because it is saying it should start with A and with N. Here also I'm using AND condition, right? It should start with A and it should end with N. Let's see how many number of records are there in each of the query. So we have got 179 records, right? And from here also we got 179 records. So these two conditions are same. Are you all with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now when I do not like, it will give me everything apart from these 179 records. Similarly, if I have to negate multiple conditions, I can put this in bracket, and outside also I can say not. This also works, right? So you can write a condition, whatever condition you want, multiple and ors, and if you want to negate it, you can just put it in bracket and apply a not before that. So this will also give me same number of records, 9815.
We can write where customer name not like and customer name not like.
That also we can do, but this is also a way of doing.
Yes. Thank
Is there any
In this case,
Sorry.
is there any performance impact between these two queries?
So obviously you have only one condition here, right? And here we have two conditions and then not. So you only tell me which one is better.
I think first one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So here they have to check three conditions. First, customer name like A%. Then, because this is an AND, customer name like percentage N, right? And then we have to negate. So definitely three operations, and here we have only one operation. So this will be much faster.
I think not in also works.
Not in is different. Not in will not work on this like operator, right? We are checking some pattern, right? This is a pattern, A%, percentage. Not in works on exact conditions, like in not in we discussed the previous session. Like you can say where customer name in, and you can give some names, exact names. You can't give patterns with in, right? Or if you want to use not in, you can just say customer name not in. So it will check for exact names. But here we are checking pattern. So we have to use like operator. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Next question I want to discuss is this one. Write a query to find top 5 orders with highest sales in furniture category, right? So for this question, what we have to do is we have to filter on category furniture, right? Then order by sales descending. So what I'm saying, give me all the orders where category is furniture, then order by sales, descending order, and give me top 5, right? So if I just remove top 5 and just run this one, so I will get highest sales on top, right? And then in descending order I'm getting, right? And then I'm saying, give me top 5. So it will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the top 5 records with highest sales, right? So now a lot of some 2-3 people reached out to me. They were confused about the order of execution between top 5, top and the order by. So what happens is order of execution will be, obviously it will start from, so it will go to this table. Then where filter will be applied, right? After that, the star means it will select all the columns, right? So from where, then it will pick list of columns, right? And then do a order by on those, right? Because if it does order by first, it will be doing on all the columns, right? But it has to do whatever columns we need, right? So it will just do from where, pick all the columns which are required, do order by, right? And then after order by, it will apply top 5. Because top 5 and columns are together, it is little bit confusing that this whole is executing together. It is not the case. First, from where columns will be selected, whatever columns are required, and then we can do order by. After that, top 5 will be executed. In some of the database, actually it is at the end, limit 5. Then it makes more sense that limit 5 is at the end. But in SQL Server, it is top 5. So sometimes it is confusing that top 5 and stars are running together. That is not the case.
So Ankit, in that case, if limit is also used, that in that situation also the sequence remains the same, right?
Right. So if you use limit 5. So now logically it looks fine, right? Because from, where, then select will be there. After that, order by limit, right?
Mhm. Okay.
But it is same. Top 5 is nothing but limit only.
Okay.
Okay. Now we can prove this point that order by is running first or select is running first, right? So how we can prove it? So let's say I'm driving a new column, we drive to profit divide by ratio, right? Divide by sales as ratio. Okay. Now I can use this ratio column in my order by. So I will say order by ratio. And if I run this, it is running, right? Which means first, this is running. Whatever we need to select, right? Select is running and then order by is happening. If order by was happening first, we wouldn't be able to use this ratio column. But since we are able to use ratio column in the order by, it means the select is running first and then the order by. And then in the end, if I say top 5, it will run accordingly. So it will be top 5 based on ratio. Make sense? Any doubts? You can think about it for a minute.
Elias thing, like we can use the ratio one and where condition as well.
No, ratio, no. That's what, where condition is executed first and then select. Yes, that is also a good point to prove, right? Where ratio is greater than 0. If I say this, here itself it is giving error, invalid column name ratio, because ratio column is not there in orders table. And where condition is applied just after from. So ratio is not there, right? Ratio is only after select. So this also proves that where comes first before select.
Okay.
Okay. So basically you can only use those columns in where clause which are present in the table.
Got
Right? Okay. Yeah.
Vaishali here.
Yeah, Vaishali, go ahead.
Can you explain this query again? I'm not able to get this ratio part.
So I'm driving a new column, right?
Hmm.
So we can drive a new column. So we have this select star, whatever columns, all the columns will come, and this is a new column. If you say in the output, one new column is coming with the header ratio. So this is for aliasing. As is used for aliasing. If
Yes.
you are doing some, okay. So this is a new column now, ratio. So far it is clear?
Yes, got it. Yeah.
Okay. So what I was trying to prove is this ratio column, we are able to use in order by clause, right? The query is running perfectly fine.
Mhm.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
Which means order by clause is getting executed after select clause. That is what I wanted to prove. Order by clause executed after select clause. That is why I am able to use ratio column in order by. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm not able to use this ratio column in where clause. This proves that where clause is executed first and then select clause. So the order is from, where, then select, then order by, and in the last, top 5.
Ankit,
Yeah.
yeah, I am a bit confused when you say picking the list of columns, and initially I understood it as where from, first of all, from from keyword is executed, then
Yeah.
where the keyword executes, then
Right.
list of columns are picked, then
Right.
order by executes, then select statement executes, right?
Okay, so when I say select statement means the list of columns which are required.
Okay.
So obviously the result is at the end, but what I'm saying from where, and then all these columns will be picked up, whatever is there in select.
So that
And
means select statement only, right?
Right.
Okay.
And in the end, order by.
After that, order by top keyword.
Right.
Okay.
Because the order by is happening on ratio, right? And then after that, we are picking top 5. So obviously order by is running first and then top 5, because the top ratio will come on the top, and then top 5 we will get.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Just because top 5, top keyword and these are together, sometimes it is confusing that they are running together, but it is not the case. Top 5 is at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question. Does top 5 mean that it's going to run like a where clause on top of everything once everything is done, like a where clause again?
So it is like data will be, so whatever data is there of this query after order by and everything, whatever is there, from there it will pick top 5 records.
Okay. So that's the last set of execution, like a where
Right.
clause on top of all the
Right.
select.
Right.
Okay.
Ankit, also can we use the calculated part in the order by keyword itself?
Yeah,
Like-
that's what we are using, right? Ratio we are using here.
No, but like we're using the alias name instead of alias name. Also, can we use the profit by ratio itself?
Right. Right.
Profit
We
by
can
sales.
do that. We can do that.
Okay. Okay.
Good question.
Ankit, I have one more question. So would the top 5 be categorized at a level where having clause executes? Would that be the scenario?
No, don't
Like
go
having-
ahead of the things. We will discuss having clause, then we will clear order of execution. But so far, if you have any doubt, you can ask.
Got it.
We have not discussed having clause. Why to confuse everyone?
Oh, sure.
Ankit, I have a doubt with what you say, pattern matching, like keyword.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. No. But with some other column, not. I just thought because of phone number column is what I'm thinking of. Okay. Usually in our email signature we will be writing phone number by separating hyphen. So if that kind of data is there.
Okay. For example, we have +91-9 some phone number, right?
No. See, now 10 digit is there, na? After 4 digit hyphen, then after 3 digit hyphen, like will be there. Like this we write, right? Generally.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the input data. Okay.
So
now can we do pattern matching here? Not in what you say, remove hyphen like that. Something can we do?
You want to remove hyphen from the data?
So yeah, using like or not like keyword, can we do that here?
No, I am not getting what you want exactly from the
output will be just the number. Remove all those.
Yeah, we can do that. So we have some functions, replace function and all. When we discuss functions, we will know it. We can replace anything.
Replace function. Acha.
Yeah.
No, using like keyword and all we cannot do.
No, like keyword is for search. It will not replace anything, right?
Okay.
It is not modifying your column. It cannot modify your column. Like is a filter keyword, right? It will filter data. It will not modify your data.
I thought it of a pattern matching. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
with a quick question. In the last session, we discussed escape, right?
Right.
So
but we are looking at only one character, right? Let's say if we want to escape more than one characters.
I think we can give multiple characters in escape, as far as I know. Let's see. Escape. Percentage. Let me remove this. Okay. I think we can give multiple characters. I can double check and update you on the group. But I think like this, we can give multiple characters. Percentage also, if I want to escape, underscore also, we can escape. And let's say we want to escape this, everything we can give in the escape string.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, but I will do some testing and update you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to today's session.
Ankit, just one question.
Yeah.
So about the use of alias in the where clause, you had mentioned that in the last class that in other databases like it is able to recognize that alias in the where clause, right?
Right. So basically, when it does it, it rewrites your query internally. So it creates a subquery, which we will discuss. But fundamentally, you cannot use alias column in where clause. But in this modern databases, it will internally do some changes in your query, and then it will execute.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on to today's topic. We covered the order of execution, which was a confusion. Okay. Okay, so we were talking about null, right? How do we filter null values, or how do we work with null values, right? In case of filters. So let's make some of the data null in this table. I don't think we have any null values. So let me make some city null for some of the records. Okay. So I will say update orders, right? This is how is the update statement. Set city equal to null, right? So null, like I said, null is like a special character in SQL. So you should keep it as NULL, don't put it in single quotes, right? And I will give where condition where order underscore ID in. I will give couple of order IDs. This one. And let's take one more. Okay, so this will update 2 records, or maybe more if one order ID has multiple rows. Okay, so 2 rows affected. And let's see the data. Order. Okay, let me filter data on these 2 order IDs now. So if you see, city is null, right? So now you have some null data, right? So you have all the data and you want to filter wherever city is not available. We don't have city information, right? You can have multiple null values in your data. How will you filter? So obviously this comes to the mind, the obvious filter, city equal to null, right? Right, but this will not work. Let me run this. There is no record, right? Because null is an unknown value. Null is an unknown value. You cannot compare it with anything. You cannot say city, let's say Bangalore is equal to null, or it is not equal to null, right? It is not equal to anything. It is not equal to anything, right? basically you cannot compare with equal to because this is a unknown value. So for that, in SQL we have a special keyword is null. So instead of equal to, I have to say is null. So it will give me all the records where the city is null. So we have got 2 records. So this is a special keyword to handle null values. Similarly, we have is not null as well. Is not null. It is not is null. It is not null. You have to use like that only. So we will get everything except these 2 records. Right? So we have got triple line 2 records. We had triple line 4. So we got, except these 2 records, we got everything. Right? So this is how we have to handle null values in where filter. And obviously you can use anything with that and whatever conditions you want to use. There's no restriction. So, but there's a special function to filter null values. Okay. Okay. So I think from the where filter point of view, we have covered a lot of things. I think most of the things are covered. When we learn about functions, we will touch base upon where filter again, where we can use some of the functions in where clause and do some filtering, right? So we will move on to the aggregation now. Filtering null values.
Just before moving, can you please tell us like what is exactly null? Because in one of the interviewer asked me, what is null? Is it 0? Is it blank? Or is it what? What exactly null is?
Null is not blank. It is not 0. Null is unknown. We don't know. So for example, if you have a CSV file and you have order ID, customer name, city, let's say like this you have, and we have, let's say, price, cost, sales, right? So how you would put 1, Ankit, city, let's say Bangalore, and whatever sales 100, right? You have another record 2, let's say Agam. Okay, now you don't know the city of this customer, so you will keep it as nothing, right? And then you say 200. So the city for this customer is not known. We don't know what is the city. So this is null basically. Even if you put some space, right, or empty string, that is not a null. This is an empty string, right? This will be treated as empty string. But when you don't put anything, so it is unknown. So for example, you must be filling some forms in online, right? And some fields will be optional, right? And you will not fill it. Let's say you have first name, middle name, and last name, and you don't put middle name. So that middle name is unknown, null. We don't know, right? And it is applicable for any kind of column. It can be string, it can be integer or date. The null will be unknown. I mean nothing. It is completely blank.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. So null is very important because later when we discuss join there also, because null cannot be, you have to just keep this in mind that null cannot be compared with anything. You cannot say something is equal to null and you cannot say something is not equal to null, because null is not comparable, right? It is like, you can imagine is that infinity. Infinity is not equal to infinity, and infinity is not equal to anything. Even null is not equal to null. If I put a where condition null equal to null, this will not qualify anything, because null is not comparable to anything, not even null. Okay.
In the case of update statement, null will work, correct? But in the case of select statement, it will not work. I think it is not comparable.
No, so in update statement, we never compared it. We are just putting values as null.
Correct. Setting it. Correct.
Yeah, we are setting it. We are not comparing it, right?
Correct. Okay. Only for the comparison. ठीक है यार.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So far we have only looked at the single rows individually, whatever is the filter, right? Only filter is applied at row level, and whatever data you are getting, right? But we are not talking with multiple rows at a point, right? We are just working with individual rows. Now, what is aggregation? Aggregation is you aggregate data, you generate some reports, right? So select from orders, right? And what you want to see how many records are there, right? So I will say count star. So what it will give me number of records in that table. So it will look at the full table. We have 994 records. If I run select count star, it will give me number of records. You see 994. And we can even give the alias as CNT. So total number of rows is 994, right? So this is our first aggregation function count, which will count number of records in a table. Now here you will give star. If you give star, it will give total number of records, irrespective what is the value of individual columns. But it will give you a whole record count in the table. We will talk about more variations of count, but for now, we have this count star to get number of records in the table. Okay. We have sum as well, one of the aggregation functions. So you want to see what is your total sales? You can just say sum of sales, right? And it will just give you the sum of total all the sales in your table as total sales, right? So all 994 records, it will just aggregate them and put the total sales. Right?
Can you do a distinct count also? You're putting a distinct here.
Yeah, we'll come to that. Don't worry. Okay, and then we have max as max sales, right? And in the single statement, it is not necessary that you have to use a single column. So for example, we have max, we have minimum as well. I can take minimum of profit or any column as such, right? And then we have average, AVG, average of profit as average profit, let's say. Okay, and now I'm going to run them all together. So we have got 5 columns: count, total sales, max sales, minimum of profit, and average of profit, right? So basically what it is doing, it is just taking all the rows. So for sales column, it will take all the values of sales column for all the orders and just sum them up, right? For maximum sales, it will check in all the rows which is the maximum sale, right? So if I do select star from orders, order by sales descending, right? So this will be should be the row on the top. So I will say top one. Okay, and we can run 2 statements together by selecting them and execute. So if you see, the total on the top is 22638, and that is my max sales also, right? So it is checking all the rows and getting you max sales. This is straightforward. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now you will say, I want, this is total, right? But I want to do some analysis that which region is producing more sale or less sale. So I want region wise all these numbers.
Ankit,
Yeah.
Ankit, I have a doubt here.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ankit, can we use what you say top keyword here with this max.
Here.
Yeah, with any of the thing.
So what will happen now? Just think about it. Top keyword is ultimately on number of records your query is producing. How many records this query is producing? 1. Right? There is only 1 record after aggregation, right? So even if you do top 5, it doesn't matter. You have only 1 record. So that's why top is executed at last. So what will happen? All this, it will go to from, there is no where clause. We can put where clause, right? If you ask me where clause, yes, we can put where clause, and on top of that, then all this aggregation will happen, right? Once these aggregations are done, you have 1 record. If you do top 5, it will still give the same answer, right?
Okay, thank you.
Right? You will still get 9994.
Thank you.
Okay. Now you want all of this at region level, that for each region. So we have east, north, south, all the regions, right? I want at that level. So that's where the group by keywords come. Okay. So this is our, just move it down a little bit. We have group by. Okay. So I will say region group by region. Okay, I'm saying group my data. So this is a new keyword now, group by. So I'm saying group my data on region basis, right? In the select also I need region and give me all of this, right? If I run this now, you see for each region I'm getting a different record. So it will take data for all the east region, count how many records are there. What is the total sales? What is the max sales within each region in east, right? This is the max sales, this is minimum sales, this is average profit. Okay. If many of you will be working on Excel, and if you have used pivot table, it is similar to that. So if I go here and insert a pivot table, right? And I will say, give me region in the rows and give me sales, right? Okay, so this is giving me total sum of sales at central region is 501239. Let's see here what it is. Central 501239, right? So it is exactly working as a pivot table. And again, you can add many values here, right? So you have, let's say, profit, right? You can add profit, and you will see multiple columns here, right? So similar thing is happening with group by, right? I hope this makes sense if you have used pivot table, right? So the same thing is happening with group by. So it will region by region. So what happens when you do group by? It will just group all the values in that column together. So all the east will become 1, all the south will become 1, all the west, all the central. In fact, if I just remove everything, right? If I just take this one, and I just remove everything and run this, right? I will give distinct value of region. So this is similar to, we use the distinct function, right? So here we were using distinct earlier. So it will give me distinct value of region, right? 4 regions. If you do group by, then also what it is doing, all the similar regions, it is grouping in 1. So if I do group by, you will get distinct values of region. Now the advantage of group by is you can have aggregated values as well with this. right? Any doubts in group by?
So Ankit, whatever the column name we give for in group by statement, it should be
Right.
present in select statement. Is it mandatory? Like,
If you remove it, you can run it, okay, but it will not make sense. Now you don't know which region has how much sales,
yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
right?
The group by is used to filter that non-aggregate column, right?
Sorry, go ahead again.
Group by is used to filter non-aggregate columns, right?
Filter, there is no filter, right? We are
Uh,
grouping it together.
Okay, okay.
There is no filter at all.
That means I'm just saying that if you're using select region, comma sum of sales, sum of sales is comes under aggregate columns, right?
Right. Sum of sales is an
Sales
aggregated
comes
column.
under column. But while using group by, so
Mhm.
we have to use that non-aggregate columns, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you have to use non-aggregate columns in group by. Okay. Now,
there is only this difference that we can use group by with aggregate function and distinct cannot be used with a group by.
yeah, distinct is just a distinct.
Okay.
Yeah. See here, if you put distinct, you can put, but it doesn't make sense with group by. Group by is anyway doing a distinct kind of thing, right? You will have one row for each region. Now, if you put distinct here, it is unnecessary for database, right?
Right.
Because you anyway getting distinct values of region with this. So if you put distinct, it will not make sense. Okay.
Thank you.
But for say for a different reason, we have different cities, then
Mhm.
reason might not be distinct, right? So if we are adding cities as well, say select region, comma city, comma sum of sales, like whatever we have, and then in the group by we have region and city as well, right? Then
Right.
region might not be distinct only because it will be combination of region and city,
Right.
right?
So you will get a combination of the distinct combination of region and city, right?
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Right. So anyway, distinct again is of no use.
But it's a combination of both, right?
Right.
Distinct.
It's a
Yeah.
combination of both. Now the data is grouped on region plus city. So let's take category, which will make more sense. Because we have a lot of values for city. It will give you all the combinations of region and category, right? So we have 12 combinations. So for each region, office supplies, what is the total sales? For west region, technology, what is the total sales? Again, if you go back to Excel, you can add category here. Categories in the rows, right? So this is same thing. Central furniture, 163,797. Central furniture, 163,797. Right? So this is now combination of two columns, and you can add as many as you want. Okay. Now question to all of you. What will happen if I do this?
Error.
Either anyone else?
It will not run because in the select we are selecting the region and the category, and we are grouping by only with the region.
Right. So for each region, so let's say data is this, right? So we have East and we have category technology, and let's say sales 100, and we have another East, office supplies, let's say 200. Now what you are saying, you are telling database that group by on region. Okay, I am doing group by on region, so these two row will become one, right? The moment I say group by on region, the database will make these two rows as one row, right? Then at the same time, you are saying give me category as well. Now database will be confused that you want one row for East, but for category you have two columns. What should I do? Right? It will not be able to run. It is saying columns orders those categories invalid in the select list because it is not contained either in aggregation function or group by. So it is saying it is not in group by. Either you put an aggregated value, right? If you put aggregated value, then I can do something. So for example, East you are grouping together region, and then you are saying sum of sales. Then I can do some this plus this I can aggregate and give you. But if you ask me to give category, I cannot give you, right? Because for each region I have multiple categories. How can I give you? Either you put category also in group by, then I will do group by on these two and give you different rows. But only with region I cannot give you. So this is a very common interview question as well. The interviewer will write a query like this and he will say what will be the output, right? He will be expecting that you say it will give me error. So the thumb rule is in select clause, if you are using group by, in select clause, you can have only columns which are presented group by, or you can have aggregated columns. You cannot have a column which is not present in group by, right? So either the columns which is in group by, or it should be aggregated column, so that on that grouping column, they can database can aggregate value and give it to you back. I hope this makes sense. Very important concept and very common interview question. I mean, many times I have faced this question. Interviewer will just write this query and tell you what will be the output. He will not ask you what will it be right or wrong. He will just ask you the output, but he is expecting you will say that this will not run. It will give an error. Okay, any doubts here? Okay, let's look at all the keywords, right? And again, we will look at the order of execution. Very, very important. Put it back here. Now let's put where filter. Where what we can put? Let's say profit is greater than 50. Okay. Now what is happening is, now here from keyword is executed first and then where. So I will get all the data where profit is greater than 50. So I will just put that filter, and on top of that data, whatever rows are remaining now, this grouping will happen, right? So here where filter is applied first, then we are doing a grouping, right? So for example, how much was the sum of sales earlier? Let me run both of them. This is without filter and this is with filter. Okay, you will see there will be some difference. If you see total East sales is 678781, but here it is less, right? Because we are seeing only data where profit is greater than 50. Only for that I have total sales, right? Again, you can put in where clause any filter, whatever we discussed, like, not in, whatever, right? So very important, from, where, group by. Okay, what else we discussed? We discussed order by, right? And then top 5. That is all we have discussed so far. So obviously, now what will happen first? Grouping is happening first and then order by. I mean, grouping is happening first and then select and then order by. So I can do order by total sales descending, right? From, where, grouping, select, order by. And these keywords have to be in similar order. You cannot put order by first and then group by, right? The order of keywords in the query also should be in the same order. If you do this, it says incorrect syntax near group by. So you cannot put anything anywhere. From the keyword point of view, select will come first, then from, then where, then group by, then order by, and then top will come here, right? But from execution point of view, from, where, right, group by, then your select statement, and then order by, right? So I can do top 5. So again, how many regions we have? We have 4 regions. If I do top 2, then it will give me top 2 regions by sale. So what are our top 2? I think west and east we should get. So if I run this, we have got east and west, right? If I just remove this, we will get all 4 regions. Just look at this query for a moment. If you have any doubts in the order of execution, you can ask here. Very, very important. When we are solving advanced questions, these things may confuse you. So make sure it is absolutely clear in your mind. Okay, no questions. I'm assuming it is clear. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. So we have been using where for filtering the data. And like we have discussed this before, that where filter works row by row, right? So select star from orders, right? So if I'm saying ship mode equal to second class, it will just go row by row. First row it will go, it will check, okay, it is second class, it will come in output. Then go to second row, okay, it is second class. It means each row it is checking independently, right? So when it is checking row 1, it doesn't care what is there in row 2, row 3, right? Because it is at individual row level. Now, let's say I want to do some filter on the aggregated values, right? So basically, let me do this. Subcategories there, right? Okay, let's do on subcategory. Then sum of sales as total sales from orders group by subcategory. Okay. Now they are all of the categories are coming, right? Let me do a order by also. Order by descending. Okay. So all of my subcategory wise total sales I'm seeing. Now I want to see only those subcategories whose total sales is, let's say, greater than this number. So this is 100,000. Let's say greater than 100,000. Okay, this is less than. Okay, from appliances onwards, it is more than 100,000, right? So I want all the subcategories where total sales is more than 100,000, right? Now we know we cannot use this total sales in where clause, right? Because of the order of execution. If I say total sales greater than 100,000, it will not run, right? Because total sales is an aggregated function and it will be executed after where clause, because first where will be applied and then only it will go to select, which means total sales cannot be used in where clause, right? So that is a problem now. What we should do? So we have a new keyword now, having, with the group by. So having will always be used with group by and after group by. I will say having sum of sales greater than 100,000, right? Now it will work. So what it will do? It will just aggregate the data, right? And after that, it will apply this filter. That sum of sales should be greater than 100,000. If I run this, we should get only appliances. So total 10 records should come, right? Yeah. So we have 10 records and appliances is the last one. Okay. Again, we can use where filter here. So if I do this, first the where filter will be applied, right? On that, the grouping will happen, and on that, this filter will be applied. Okay. Now, what do you think? Select running first or having is running first? So from is running first, obviously. Then where is running. Now we know grouping is also running. Now after group by, will it run select or having? We can test it, right? I can just put this here. Total sales is greater than 100,000. If it works, it means select is running first and then having, but it is not the case. Right? It is saying invalid column total sales. So, which means having is running first. And then on top of that, it is giving me data. Subcategory sum of sales. So if I run this, okay, let me run this without filter and with filter so that I can show you the difference. Okay, so you see, we have different rows are coming. So here, if you see, only 7 are coming, because for many of the subcategories, there won't be any record with profit greater than 50, right? Right? Or no, so there will be only 7 categories where the sum of sales is greater than, where profit is greater than 50 and sum of sales is greater than 100,000. There are only 7 categories. Sorry, I got confused. Right, so it will apply filter where profit is greater than 50, right? After that, it will do sum of sales. And for many of them, it will not be greater than 100,000, because we are looking at the only those records where profit is greater than 50. That's why we are getting only 7 records. Only 7 subcategories are like that. Here we had 10 categories without the profit filter, right? So this again proves that where filter is applied first, and top of it grouping is happening, and on that this having filter is applied. Okay, now we can add top as well here, so it will give me top 5 or top 2, right? So top is always at the end. So whenever you are getting confused about top, just remove the top, run your query, whatever is your result, on top of this top 5 will be applied. You can again take 2 minutes to go through this query and make sure that this sits in your mind and there's no doubt.
Ankit, so we are using having function only with the aggregated functions, right? We cannot use it without aggregate functions.
You can use it actually, but the problem is better to use in filter, right? If you want on subcategory, right? Let me copy this. So if you want to do having subcategory, right? So you can use subcategory, whatever is there in select, right? I mean, whatever is there in group by, that you can use in having. Again, it is the same thing. Either you can use this or any aggregate function. So I can say where subcategory equal to fonts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I run this, let me remove filter for now. This is going to run. It will give you just fonts. But do you think which query will be more efficient, this one or this one? Let me run those two together. Both are giving you same result.
Right.
What do you guys think? Which is more efficient?
Where?
Anyone else? Where or having?
Where first we filter the table and then we curate.
Right. So if you have to filter on a column, why not in where? Why you want to do in having? Having is not meant for that, though you can do it, but it is not meant for that. This is for aggregated functions. If you want to filter on a column, put it in where. Here what will happen, you are grouping all the data and then filtering on this, which is a overhead to the database. Here what will happen, it will just filter all the data first and then do the aggregation. Aggregation is a costly function. You do on more data, it will be more costly. So better you filter the data, whatever you have to filter, and then you do group by. Right?
Got it.
If you have to do some filter on aggregate function, then obviously you don't have any option. You can't use aggregated function in where, then you have to use where having, right? But there's no point running this query. Better run this one. Okay.
I have one question here.
Yeah.
So Ankit, like the order of the execution, if you say it's starting from,
right,
and it's going to where?
Right.
Sorry for my voice, it's a bit cold.
No problem. Yeah.
So let's take it. There is no where, so it will start from the group by. Now the question would be, when we start from the from, the group by will be done for all the records in the table, right? Because we are not selecting for the thing anymore. Okay. So it will be grouped by all the column. Let's say I have 1,000 column, 1,000 rows. So it will be grouped on the 1,000 rows.
Right. Right. And after grouping, then it will be by having filter.
Okay. Got it. Got it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, you should always use numerical column in a having clause.
Sorry?
You should always use numerical column in a having clause.
No, you can use the non-numeric column also. You can use date. You can use max of order date. Right? You can use string values as well. Like we said, we can use max, minimum, and string values as well, right? So it will just do alphabetical sort and check what is the max or minimum. Yeah. So like I was talking about sorting. So we can do max minimum on the string column as well. Let's do it quickly. Select max of, let's say category, right? From orders. It works, but there are not many use cases of this that you want to do max of a string column, but it works. You know, T comes in the end in all the, let's see, what are the categories we have. Data filter. Is category. Okay. So we have FOT. So T comes in the end. So when you do max, it is giving you T, right? Now, obviously you cannot do, you can do minimum, but you cannot do sum, right? This will give you error, right? So data type is nVarchar is invalid for sum operator. So you cannot do sum, obviously. What will be the sum of aggregation, right? What will be the average of a string value? So this will not work, but max and min works. And whatever works can be used in having clause. Okay. And obviously you can do on the order date as well. So you can say having max of order date, anything. Right. So which means what it is doing, it is saying group on subcategory, right? Have a max of order date should be greater than, which means there should be, for all those subcategories, there should be at least one order which should be after this date, right? So let's say this subcategory, whatever it is, let's say pencil, right? For all the orders, there should be at least one order where max of order date is greater than this, right? So for example, let's say, so what subcategories we have? Bookcases, chairs. Okay, let's say chairs we have, and we have bookcases, right? So for chairs, I have one order which is 2019 0101. Okay. Now we have another chairs. The order is 2020. 2019, 10, 10. Let's say these are the two orders for chairs. Now for bookcases also we have two orders. And this is same, and let's say this is 20. Okay, let me put the sales as well. 100, 200, 300, and 400. Now let's say I'm running this query on this data. We have just this much data. Can you tell me what will be the output? Okay, tell me how many number of rows will be there first.
One last one.
Okay, what will be the output? Tell me just output. Just let me remove top 5 from here and tell me what will be the output.
So since we are grouping by subcategory, we should get 2 rows. One is chair and one is bookcases.
Okay.
And in chairs, we will get 200. In bookcases, we will get 400.
Okay.
Because we are
Here we will.
No records.
Here we will get only one row because the bookcases only satisfy the condition. And first thing it will group it, but only the condition matches is the group by for the last row only.
Because for this maximum order date would be that the last one and it is greater than 1/1/2020.
Right. So what will be the output? Tell me the output.
Fourth row. Yeah, fourth row.
So you are saying bookcases
And 400.
and 400. Anyone else?
Bookcases and 700.
Sorry?
Bookcases and 700.
Okay. So we have two options now. Bookcases and 400 and bookcases and 700. Okay. Let me do a poll quickly. A poll. I don't know where it is going. I don't know, it is asking for Zoom. Okay, let's leave it for now. I will explore this later. But there are two answers, right? How many of you think that it will be 700? Can you put it in the chat box? Put 400 or 700 in the chat box. If you think it will be bookcases 400, then put 400. And if you think 700, put 700. Let me check the chat box. Okay, so it's a good mix. And I think most of the people are saying 400. Okay. Fine. Let's see what will happen. So I have this much data now, right? And let me just go a step back. And I will just remove the having clause. I'm just commenting it. So this having clause is not there now. Okay, let me put the output. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take max of order date as well as one of the column, right? I can take it, right? It is an aggregated column, so I can take it in the select, right? So let's see what will be the output. So we have 4 rows. So I'm grouping on chairs, right? Comma, sum of sales will be 300. I have put this, I've removed this having filter. So this is fine, right? So sum of sales will be Total sales will be 300 for chairs. And what will be the max order date? It will be this one for chair. Okay. Similarly, for bookcases, we will have second row for bookcases, right? Because I am grouping on subcategory. My total sales will be 700, right? And what will be the max order date? Max order date is this one. Okay. Now, can you apply having clause? Now, would anyone like to change their answer?
It should be
It
700.
will give 700.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it will first run group by and then.
Yes, it is just checking if your max of order date is greater than this or not. It is not filter data on the row level, right? It is an aggregated value. It is different from where clause. It is just checking, is your max of order date for this subcategory is greater than this? Yes, then give me, because it has grouped the data, right? After grouping, having filter is applied. So it has already grouped the data that bookcases at total 700 sales and max of date is this. Now, when you apply this filter, it will just check, is max of order date is this? Yes, it will just give you 700. That's it. So this is the right answer. Bookcase is 700. And someone was saying that we will have 2 rows, right? I hope this is clear now. We will have only bookcases in the output. Right? So this is the right output. Just think about it and ask your doubts here.
Ankit, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So in the prior scenario, you didn't have the max of order date, but you had it in having max of order date greater than 2020-0101. So in that scenario, would the query execute or it wouldn't execute? Because I'm wondering that having works only when you have those columns in the data set.
Sorry, having works only when?
You have it in the data set because it's a calculated type of a thing, right? The way having works.
No, this is an aggregation, right? It is the, so in having what we can use an aggregated value. That's what I told you, right?
Yeah, the select and the aggregated stuff.
Group by basically, yeah. Same.
Yeah, so just in case,
Yeah.
if you comment out max, would you be able to execute the query?
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So select is happening after having, right? That's what we saw. So what will happen? Data is grouping on subcategory, right? Then within each subcategory, it is checking what is the max order date.
Okay, got it.
At this point, it has not calculated sum of sales or whatever, but it is just checking for each subcategory what is the max order date.
All right, got it.
Ankit, if we are using where instead of having, like if we are using where order date is greater than 2020, the same date, then we will get the bookcase 400, na?
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay. All of you, hope all of you got this. This is a good question. Let me put it in a separate query. So our next query is this one. So I'll just move this filter to, and we'll change it to where and just order it. Now in that case, what will happen? It will go to each row and filter where order date is greater than this one. So which means we will get only this one, bookcases and 400. Right? Because all of these dates are less than 2020, right? So only this one will come in that case. Okay.
One question is here. So I'm not getting like this having and select statement. So suppose that here when you are selecting grouping by subcategory, so it is grouping all the things, or it is kind of dividing all the columns based on subcategories, that these many rows are for furniture, these many rows are for technology,
Right.
and then after that, if it is saying it is checking whether it is having any having clause or any other thing, and then only will then only it is bringing subcategory, and then
Right. Sum
checking.
of sales. Right.
Okay. Okay. It's like just dividing like how many rows are there for this thing. At that time,
Right.
the columns will be there, right?
Right. So it is just grouping. So for the region column, we had east, west, right? So whatever rows of east will come together, will become one row the moment I do group by on region. Or let's say subcategory, we have bookcases, right? So in our original data, we might have 100 rows of bookcases.
Right.
The moment I do group, they will all come together.
Okay.
And within that group of 100, we will check if max of order date is greater than this.
Okay.
Okay. And whatever, if it qualifies, then it will give me sum of sales here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. So this is a very common confusion between where and having. So make sure it is clear. Solve some questions. I will also give assignment, but it should be absolutely clear in your mind when to use where clause and when to use having clause.
So we can solve this type of queries means if in mind order of execution is there, right?
Yeah, if you are clear about order of execution.
Yes.
Right. Right. And second thing, one is order of execution, and also when some question is there, you have to think, right? Is it a row level filter or is it an aggregation filter, right? That also you have to keep in mind. If it is a row level filter, someone is asking you to filter on some technology or some date or something, then you have to use where clause. And if someone is asking you to do on aggregated value, someone is saying minimum of this should be this one, average of this should be this one, some kind of aggregation, then we have to use having. Okay. Anyone else? Any doubts?
Sir, we are using having maximum order date. Then it is necessary to put maximum order date in select statement also.
Not necessary. So this query will run absolutely fine. I just commented max of orders, right? It is not necessary. You are filtering on max of orders doesn't mean you have to take. Like for example, in where filter, whatever columns you are putting, is it necessary to put in select? No, right? So these are the where conditions. Not necessary you have to put it in select also, whatever filter you are putting. You can put a filter on max of order date, and select you can take sum of sales or any aggregation value. Okay, so one more, you can think about this as well. So if you don't have a where clause, for example here, right, and you are putting this having filter, max of order date is this, it means either the subcategory will come, some particular subcategory, or not come, right? We will not have a partial data of any subcategory, right? So when I'm aggregating on subcategory and I'm checking what is the maximum order date, right? So if that subcategory, even if we have one record with maximum order date greater than this, that subcategory's full data will come. We are not filtering row wise. We are checking max of order date at subcategory level, right? So either the subcategory will come, particular subcategory, or it will not come. We will not get partial data, right? If there is a where clause, then we might have some partial data of subcategory that there are, let's say there are 100 records of subcategory, and with where filter you can filter only 50, right? But if you have 100 records for bookcases, so sum of sales will either come for all 100 or the bookcases will not come at all based on the having condition. Because your data is already grouped when you say group by subcategory. And of the group data, you are saying having max of order date. So when you say sum of sales, it will be your full data. Either the bookcases will come or not come. It is not possible that total sales for subcategory is 100,000, but after this filter, it is 50,000. No. Like in this case, we saw, right? 300 and 400. We got full 300, 400, both 700 we got. Is this clear? Absolutely clear?
Ankit, one question.
Mm-hmm.
In the same query, like select sub, if there is no, in the select statement, if there is no max order date,
Mm-hmm.
this thing, and how we, it is in while coming in group case, group by statement,
Mm-hmm.
it is mandatory. It will only take the maximum date. It may take the lowest date to like 2019 date also, or it is mandatory. It will take the maximum date only.
Here, having clause.
No, upper statement like group by. When we
Group
are
by subcategory.
like we are grouping it by subcategory.
Right.
While coming to order date.
Mm-hmm. You are saying having, right?
Right. No. We are grouping it by subcategories, and there are columns. And in select, there are columns like in select statement we have mentioned subcategory, sum of sales, and order date. Just order date only.
Order date only.
Right.
Okay.
Now, while coming on group by statement, which order date will it pick?
What do you think? What will happen in this query?
It will not execute.
It will have both the.
It will not execute.
Right. I want to ask the same question. Right. It will not execute, na? Yes.
Right. It will not execute. Okay. Because in your select clause, I'm repeating, this is a thumb rule. You can have only, if you are using group by, you can have only those columns which are presenting group by or aggregated functions. You cannot use order date.
Okay. If we are using max order date, it will execute. Otherwise, it will not.
Right. I can use any aggregated value, min, max, anything. Again, average and sum will not work on date columns, right?
Right.
So average and sum will work on your numeric, and max, min works on everything. Count also works on everything. Okay. Quickly, last 5 minutes, I will just tell you more about count function. Some more things are there. Okay, so let's focus on count function. Select category, or let's say count star from orders, right? That's what we discussed initially with the count, right? So it is giving me total records, right? I can even give you a column name. So I can say category, right? So it will give me total count of category, which is same 9994, right? But I can do distinct here. So it will give me count of distinct categories, right? So how much I will get? 4 or 3. We have 3 categories, right? I can do reason. So I want to see the count of a particular column, distinct values. I can do this, right? Now I can do a count of, let me put it like this only. I can do a count of any number also I can put here, 1. So what happens is, it will just go to each row and count number of ones. So we have 999 rows. So count 1 will also give 999 rows. We are just counting 999 times. So in many of the videos I have put on YouTube or many places, you will see I'm using count 1 instead of count star. It is one and the same thing. It is just a different practice. So I can say count of 1, count of 2, count of 100, count of any negative number, count of 0, everything will be same. 9994. It is just I'm going to every row and counting 0 that many number of times. Right? So don't get confused. Generally, many places you will see people are using count 1 instead of count star. Okay. Let's do count of city. Okay. How many rows should be there? For the third column?
994.
994,
No,
right?
there is two nulls are there, right?
Right. So that brings to the next concept that count doesn't count null values. Okay. So if I do this, okay, table I did not select. So see 9992. So count column does not count null values. Okay, so that's why you are getting 9992. In fact, if you use any of the columns, let's say sum of sales or max or min, right? These functions also, if you have some of the columns as null, so these functions also ignore the null values. So any aggregate function will always ignore the null values. So when you are doing sum of sales, okay, when you're doing sum of sales, it will just, if you have two values as null, it will just ignore them. In case of max or min also, the aggregate function will just ignore them, right? Now let me ask one last question for the day, and this will be the last thing. Let's say I have category, or let's say region and sales, right? And I have east region and sales is 100. I have another east region, sales is null, I don't know. Okay, east and 200. Okay, now if I run select region average of sales from whatever table this is, group by region, can you tell me what will be the output as average sales?
150.
East 150.
150.
Yeah. Anyone with 100? Anyone who says the answer will be 100? Average sales will be 100 for east? Because average is total sales divided by number of records, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but it will be 150. You all are correct. It will just ignore null value. It will not even take in numerator. So average is nothing but total sales, which is 300 divided by count, right? Count of sales. So count of sales will give you 2 only. So it will be 150. So this is again very tricky question sometimes asked in interviews. So any aggregate function will just ignore null values, just ignore. It will not consider it at all, even in averages. It will take 300 divided by 2. If you have some situation that you have to consider this as well in the average, divided by 3 it should be, then we have some ways of doing it. We will see when we talk about null handling in more detail. But for now, no. Aggregate functions are just ignoring null values.
But if
Okay.
you use count a reason then.
Sorry?
But if you use count a reason then.
Count reason. Then it will be 3. Obviously. If I formalize this, so I'm doing average here. So it will just ignore. If I do this, sum of sales divide by count of region, right? Then it will be 100 because sum of sales is 300 and count of region is 3. So this will be 100 then, right? This will be 300, sorry, 150, and this will be 100. Right? Okay. That is it for today, guys. I hope this was a good session, very important session. So make sure you spend some time. We have a date tomorrow as well. You know, after this we will have joins, and mostly after that we can start solving some of the questions. You can start solving some of the interview questions online. You know, we'll have advanced concept, but at least after join and aggregation we can start solving some of the intermediate level questions. So make sure this is all clear. I'll give assignment in some time. I will send it. So
Next class will be tomorrow or Thursday?
Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay.
Hello, Ankit.
Yeah, Mahesh.
Can you repeat that last query, please?
This one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is our data. For example, region and sales, and I'm doing average of sales. So what I was telling, what is average in general formula? What is the average formula? Is sum of something, right? Sum of sales divided by count of sales, right? This is how average is calculated.
Yeah.
So if you have two numbers, 2 and 3, what is the average of this? 2 plus 3 divided by 2, right? 2 plus 3 divided by 2. This is your average formula. So similarly, it will just sum everything, right? When I'm talking average, divide by count. So in this case, the count is 2, right? There are two numbers. Similarly, in SQL, it just ignores null value. So the count will be 2 here, not 3. For the east region, the count will be 2 because null is ignored. So average sales will be 300 divided by 2, not 3.
Yep, got it.
Okay, but if you do this, sum of sales divided by count of region. So sum of sales is 300 and count of region is 3. Right? It will give 100. If you do count of distinct region, what will be the output? Quick.
300.
300 because you have only one distinct region, east.
If we are having 0 instead of null, we are getting 100 in that situation also.
Yeah, 0 is considered as proper value. Okay. Right, so in this case it will be 100. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. Had a great time today. Good questions asked, and yeah, looking forward to more sessions. It is getting more exciting day by day, and by next week you will feel it. You will solve some good questions, so you will also get confidence. Okay. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit.
Thanks, Ankit.
Thank you guys.